I'm Danny Wilson from Boxing Science. In this next Train Like a Champion exercise video, we're going to demonstrate a step-by-step process on how to perform a deadlift. A deadlift is a really good exercise to develop the posterior chain. It's really important for boxers as this is often neglected in traditional boxing training methods. You're going to start off with feet hip width apart, with the bar lined up with the first shoelace of your shoe. You're going to sit down into a deadlift position, which is shoulders are just in front of the bar, hips are just above your knees, and the weight's going through the centre of your foot. You're going to tense up with your shoulders and pull the slackness out of the bar, and then you're going to drive up through your heels, extending your hips and your knees simultaneously. Chest up, shoulders back, push through the floor. Good, yeah, just relax service. Yeah, so see with Vizard, he was extending his hips and his knees at the same time. He was providing a lot of tension through his core, and at the top, he was really squeezing his hips by tensing his glutes. All right, so a common deadlift mistake is the rounding of the shoulders once you start lifting the bar. A good little tip for this is to make sure you pull the slack out the bar before you lift. So what I mean by that is when you come down, there's basically a lot of people end up being loose and pulling the bar and yanking at the bar, and then this alters the posture. But what I want them to do is to pull the chest out, pull the shoulders back, and that's as though you're lifting before you lift. Okay, so you're pulling the slack out the bar, you're tensing up all your shoulders, start pulling the bar and provide tension through the legs before you lift. So this makes sure that you keep a nice straight back all the way through the lift. Because of tight shoulders, hips and hamstrings, a boxer might struggle with the hip hinge pattern, and this is basically how we bend at the hips whilst keeping a neutral posture. Have the stick touching your chin, your chest, your stomach and your hips. Keep it touching all the way through as we bend the knees and then push his hips back. Keeping that same angle in your legs. You should feel a nice stretch in your hamstrings. This makes sure that you keep a nice straight back whilst hinging at the hips. If the stick comes off the chin or the hips, that means that you'll be overarching. If it comes off your stomach, you're rounding your back. Okay, so keeping that stick touching all 4 points as you bend over. Make sure that you've got a nice hip hinge pattern. Okay, so the rack Romanian deadlift is a good exercise to set up a good deadlift position to improve the strength of the hamstrings, core and glutes. Hands just wider than his knees. It's going to provide tension through the bar, pulling the shoulders back, shoulders just in front of the bar, hips nice and high. He's going to extend his legs. So his knees are slightly bent, but mainly it's an extension of the hips. What you should feel is a nice stretch down his hamstrings. It's in the set-up position. And when he comes up, he's going to be squeezing the glutes. Again, the back stays nice and straight all the way through the movement, keeping your head in a neutral position. A lot of boxers might end up rounding the back during this exercise. So just showing an example. Probably just the start bit, yeah. So when they start, they might end up rounding the back as they come through the movement. So if they find it difficult to get into this position, we can use a stick again. So what I'm going to do, Callum, just hold this stick. You're going to hold it into your chin, your chest, your stomach, and your hips. You're going to push your hips back, push them back, push them back. This gets them in a good hip position. I'll let go of the bar. Hold on to the bar now, yeah. And lift up. Okay, so the rack Romanian deadlift is our first deadlift progression. Before we go into full conventional deadlift, lifting from the floor might be difficult because of boxers' mobility issues in the hips and the hamstrings. So a good regression exercise for that is a sumo deadlift. A normal conventional deadlift, you start off with your feet hip width apart, but with a sumo deadlift, we're going to have the feet a little bit wider, so shoulder width apart. Toes pointing forward, and you're going to come down. So hips are just going to be above your knees, so just pop your hips up a little bit more, yeah. Shoulders in front of the bar, providing tension through your shoulders again. And then you're going to lift up through your heels, drive it up, good. And back down. Again. Your hips and knees extend at the same time. Squeezing your glutes at the top. Keep your chest up, nice neutral posture all the way through. Good, cheers Viz. So the reason why we have the feet a little bit wider, it loosens off the hips, so it allows the boxers to get into a deeper position whilst keeping a neutral posture in the shoulders and the back, and it also limits the distance the hips need to travel, so it makes it an easy exercise and makes it that you can lift a lot more